So here we have a sack back dress from the 18th century. It's about 240 years old, and today we're going to do a final fitting before it's ready for display. It's made of a shot silk, which means it's two different colours for the warp and the weft, a pink and a yellow. Today I'm going to talk about the mounting process to take it from this flat dress you can see here to the 3D figure that you'll see in the display. So this is the mount for the silk dress. The first step for mounting is taking initial measurements of the object itself. We realised quite early on that it's a very small dress, potentially a young adolescent or a teenager, and so we needed to find the smallest mannequin available. This is the figure that we used for our silk dress. It's called a petite one. It's a papier-mâché bust form, and it has been specially developed for mounting historic objects. It's got a very flat front, quite a small bust, a very narrow waist, and quite a long torso. Our original wearer was quite short, and so we can change the height of the mannequin down the pole. We added wadding on the inside and a layer of rime over the top, which created a soft but solid foundation to start mounting. The waist was actually cut away, so you can cut straight into this waist, which created an even smaller waist to start from. So we use this polyester wadding in order to pad out the figure to the specific dimensions. We also feather the ends to create a smooth shape. And then herringbone stitch across the top to keep it in place. It didn't need a lot of wadding because the dress is very small, and there wasn't much bust either because the shape of the dress would have kept the front and the bust quite flat. To create the soft fan shape of the skirt, there are a few layers of underpinnings that were created underneath. The first layer is a hoop petticoat, which is narrower at the top than it is at the bottom and has steel rings through each layer. Then there were various layers of net. First of all, a stiff net at the top. To create the fan shape, and also a stiff net layer at the bottom to kick the hem out. Then a soft net layer here to create a soft shape. And then a silk petticoat on the top to consolidate all of the layers and to create a barrier between the net and the petticoat. So the last steps will be to level off the hem of the underpinnings to make sure none of it is visible underneath the dress, and to add a top fabric, which will be a black satin fabric and will be a really nice finish underneath the dress. We'll only add it to this section here, which will extend just below the neckline, so that we only need to use a small amount of exhibition fabric and none of the rest of it will be seen underneath the dress. So this is the petticoat. This is the first layer that we will dress onto the mannequin. You can see here it's a rectangle, and most of the shape is achieved using these gathering tapes at the top here, which will be at the waist. We are just tying the petticoat to the mannequin here at the waist, and then the sides will be gathered in using these gathering tapes to achieve the fan shape of the skirt. So this is the last fitting of the dress. The last step would be to just mark in a stitch line where the hem of the dress ends. At this point, you can see that the dressmakers have used a less expensive fabric here to conserve the more expensive silk that you can see at the front. This section will actually be hidden by the top dress. So for this last fitting, I'm just using a cotton tape to keep the front closed whilst we check for the final fit. We'll find a ribbon or a cotton tape that closely matches the dress to keep the bodice closed for the display. To keep handling to a minimum, I'm not going to close the centre front before display. The colour of the dress is quite surprising. It's quite a vibrant colour, so we affectionately call it the sunset dress. You can really see here the narrow waist, the flat front, and the fan shape of the dress. You can also see the dramatic shape that the pleats create down the back of the train, and also how full the skirt is at the back. For a mounting point of view, we've created all the supports with the petticoats and the net underneath the dress that supports the top layer of the dress, but the pleats are dramatic all by themselves. So the importance of what we do is to create a mount that fully supports an object whilst making it the exact shape and size of the original garment. It's quite a fabulous shape, and the fabric is so beautiful, so it's going to look quite spectacular on the display.